You're listening to the Mannered Podcast. The gym is a place built for self-improvement that somehow also produces some of the most fascinating human behavior imaginable. It's a place where we willingly share odors, mirrors, and equipment, where we do our absolute best to avoid eye contact, especially in the locker room. It's a melting pot of generations, physiques, egos, insecurities, and confidence at wildly different stages of development. But the gym isn't governed by laws, it's governed by manners. Today's guest knows that better than just about anyone. My guest is Brian Casad. He's not only a longtime friend of mine, but an expert in the world of fitness as the owner of Paradigm Gyms in the Dallas, Texas region. He's a featured person across numerous fitness media outlets like Ironman Magazine, bodybuilding.com, and many more. We've shared classrooms, weight rooms, questionable decisions, and more than a few stories that probably shouldn't be recorded. But here we are. Brian's journey from the Kansas kid to building one of Dallas's top gyms gives him a rare perspective on confidence, humility, and what makes a gym feel welcoming instead of intimidating. In this episode of Mannered, we're talking about the unwritten rules of the weight room, the do's, the don'ts, the funny stuff, and the behaviors that quietly make everyone miserable, because good form isn't just about how you lift, it's about how you show up. I'm Sean Rhoads, and this is Mannered. Welcome to the show, Brian.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Man, it's such a treat to have you here for so many reasons. It's so good to see my longtime good old buddy, Brian Casad. I'm, over the years, I've followed you and I've been so proud of what you've built. And not only from a business perspective, but your family and just this incredible physique, man, that you have on display today. So,
Appreciate
you're
it.
obviously the authority in the weight room, the fitness world. So I'm so excited to get your perspective on a ton of things today. And once again, this show is for light purposes only. It's really just to kind of hold the magnifying glass over the human condition and see where we might be able to improve, but also when we can just laugh at some things. But to get us started, Brian, can you take us into the weight room a bit? Tell us about Paradigm Gyms and what you've crafted there in Dallas, Texas, and just to give our listeners a perspective on you as that authority on this subject.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's been years and years of basic development. And one of the biggest things that kind of changed our route and what we're doing was COVID. It's pretty amazing to see. It's tough when the tough times hit, but at the same time, I wouldn't change it for the world. So, basically what we've built here, starting off our business model was a little bit different. I mean, very similar in certain ways, but different in how we do things. And back in the day, it was more shaped on, say, like almost like replicating what typical gyms are like and everything like that. And so now it's the shift has gone more towards focusing solely on fitness and focusing more towards on people's time. So, back in the day, we used to try to say, oh, we've got the best fitness. We got the best fitness this, best fitness that. Fitness is a very relative term. Nobody's the best because fitness is just movement, right? You can have the best instructors. Your facility can be nice, built out, nice equipment, stuff like that. But at the end of the day, how are you appealing to your customers? And that's what I started focusing on. And the number one reason people don't get into fitness is time. I don't have time to do it, right? So I started focusing on that. I started focusing on time. How can I make someone's fitness and gym experience be the most time efficient experience possible? Yeah. So time difference, a lot of those places, it's like, one, they're massive places, right? But two, they have lockers in their locker room, and their locker rooms are usually clear in the back. And so when you have to go all the way in the back, it takes an extra probably 20 minutes just to get started. Because if you go in there, you have to put your stuff in the locker. If you have to change, or if you don't have to change, you're still putting your stuff in a locker room, right? And chances are you're probably going to sit down. You're probably going to look at your phone, and you're probably going to mess around for a little bit. So it could take you 20, 30 minutes
Yep.
before you get to your first machine,
Yeah.
start working out. And then also, with your large gym concepts too, if you're going at a busy time, you're you're also encountering, an abundance of people that are using a lot of the same stuff. So you're probably having to wait on stuff,
Hmm.
so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So, we've focused a lot on time. We want everybody to get the most out of their time when they walk in, and we want everybody to get the best experience within the gym space as well. So,
Yeah.
everything from layouts to aesthetics of the gym space all matters.
I think that's a huge one. I mean, I picked this subject because this is like one of those environments, and there's a handful of these environments in life that just press every button sometimes. If
Yep.
you're going to a bad gym, or if you're going to a good gym, even with bad people around, there's just a lot of moving parts in the worlds of, etiquette and manners that,
Yes.
can set us off. And so I like to choose things like this because I personally, have had a lot of experiences at gyms that that you know turn me into the guy you remember from college, where I just go, on my crazy rants or rampages. But with that
Oh yeah.
being said, you practically live in the gym between,
Yes.
keeping up your own personal fitness, but as well as running your business. Oh, what are, just off the top of your head, what are some of the things that drive you kind of nuts about either other gyms or gym behavior out there?
Uh, Lack of awareness is number one, probably. And it doesn't matter. I'm sure with with gyms that charge a lower rate, I'm sure you're going to get a lot more people doing a lot more, uh, let's just call it like dumb things,
Mhm.
or super lack of awareness of these things. Uh, everything from in the bathroom, somebody washing their hands and just flicking their hands all over the mirror and all over the place and leaving just a mess of water in a place, to, someone going into one of the saunas, like a hot stone sauna, and pouring an entire bucket of water on it, right? It doesn't work like that, right? Like, pouring an entire bucket of water on it, like, and then it drips down and gets on the wood, and then eventually it starts kind of warping the wood a little bit,
Yeah.
just because of the abundance of water. A little bit of water, they're built like that. It's fine because it evaporates, but when you pour an entire bucket of water, any sort of wood's going to kind of warp a little bit, especially if
Yeah.
it sits there. Um, to people, we have specific locations for weights and everything like that. People will take a weight clear across the gym that's not supposed to be in a certain area and just leave it there, leaving dumbbells out to leaving kettlebells out. And, they have no awareness. They'll leave bars loaded up all the time. And that happens more often than not. And, you know, our staff, they shouldn't have to do that. Like,
Yeah.
staff is supposed to be to make sure that the facility is running correctly, everything like that, and helping out with cleanliness and everything. But they're not there to be someone's maid.
Yep.
And so, things like that it aggravates me and aggravates a lot of people, because then also you get customers that come in after that person that does those things, and they get fed up with the gym because, you know, things aren't in their place. It's like, well,
Yeah.
if we spent all of our time, putting people's stuff back, then like there's no there's
Yeah.
no model there for that.
Yeah, you can't run your business. And once again, other people's manners kind of dictate how you got to run your business, and that's kind of the case with a lot of these things that I talk about on this show is, it's just the everyday little common courtesies, that
Oh yeah.
could easily be avoided. And unfortunately, most of those people probably wouldn't listen to the show and reflect on those behaviors. So a lot of times it's us kind of having to figure out a way to deal with those behaviors in a way, and
Yes.
or find different processes to avoid it. I mean, for me personally, and going back into the time aspect is, for me personally, I know everyone watching this would be like, he never gets in the gym, whatever. But but really, I mean, it's a time sensitive thing between, getting
Yes.
finished with work and then, what I have to do with the kids and all that stuff. There's a short window. If I miss it,
And
I can't go to the
you don't
gym.
have time. I mean, a
Yeah.
lot of times, I mean, you don't have time to work out 6 days a week, like,
Yeah.
especially with young kids, it's almost impossible, like, there's always something that's gonna pop up. It's like last
Absolutely.
week, w
Yep.
with our ice storm around here, it's like, my son had off for 4 days because, 1, Dallas doesn't have the means to take care of all the ice. I'm sure you guys are different, like, because you guys get snow and ice and all
Man,
kinds of stuff on a regular basis.
it's been like a Hawaii winter this year. It's been like it was 60 degrees yesterday. We were out in our shorts
Yeah,
playing basketball. So it's
that's
been
crazy.
nuts. Yeah. But no, so one of the things that drives me crazy is you go to the gym and then you get the like, I call them like machine loiterers that will sit there like on their phone, like
Oh, yeah.
watching a video or just going through their social media on a machine, and then you kind of walk by and it used to be back in the day, not everyone was wearing earbuds so you could talk to people in the gym a little
Yeah.
bit. Now,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
people are tapped in with their earbuds, so there's no talking to them, so you gotta awkwardly, like, tap on their shoulder and then get them to take their ear and then say, "Hey, can I work in on this?" And then it's just
Yeah.
kinda, yeah, and that's one of the pet peeves of mine, that drives me a little crazy. I mean, when you see
Well,
that at one of your gyms.
the social aspect has almost died in a way. I mean, yeah, you have groups of people and stuff like that that they conversate with one another, but, for the most part, there's a good amount of owners that just put their headphones in and they don't wanna talk to anybody. And I understand that to a certain
Yeah,
extent because, a lot of times I wanna go in and get my stuff done and be done,
yeah,
especially when it comes to time. Um, but, you know, like, yeah, with social media and with earbuds and everything like that, it can be a little problematic, trying to get someone's attention.
yeah. As a gym owner, is there anything that you can do to help pick up the pace of people? Like, is that something you notice people doing, and is there anything you can really even do about it?
So we don't have that much of it. I notice like with us, a lot of people do come in and they get their shit done and they get on with their day.
Yeah,
I think part of it has to do with we might have like our a little bit more of a premium pricing. Um, I think it happens a lot more in your $10 a month gyms or $20 a month gyms, stuff like that, where
yeah.
people just go in and just hang out.
Mhm.
Um, and then you know just sit there, browse on their phone, don't do much, might do a set every couple minutes, every 5 minutes or something like that, and just don't do a lot. Because there's a lot of times they'll go in there just to say they went into the gym.
Yeah.
So
So,
I don't know.
what would your advice be to those people if they could or would be listening?
Get in and get your shit done.
There we go. That was perfect. That's what I wanted. Yeah, so
Yeah,
now that
and get moving with your
yeah.
day. Like
Yeah,
that's
no,
how it works.
that's a good one. I mean, so one of the other things, and not, I mean, this drives me nuts is the wrong word to use when I'm setting this one up, but something that drives me nuts, literally, is it. And this is kind of there's an aspect to this that's a generational thing, and I don't know if you'll agree with this or not, but in a lot of the gyms I go to in the locker room, I don't know where the age line is, but there's a certain age where people are older men are just way more comfortable just, like, letting it all hang out in the locker
Yeah,
room. Yeah. You know,
Yeah,
it's
I mean,
like,
some of the places I've been to, yeah, like, that's definitely something, I've had memberships at other places and, you walk around the locker room and they're dangling around, like, just walking all over the place, and you kinda look at
yeah,
it, you're like, "Ah," but then at the same time, it's like, that's how it is, like,
yeah, yeah,
that's their I don't know,
yeah,
not the culture, but, like, that is generationally kind of
yeah.
how they roll.
And I used to think I was like, maybe there's a time where all of a sudden I'm gonna be like, "Yep, it's time to just air it out." You know, I'm at that age. I'm just gonna air it out, but I still haven't reached that that awakening yet. But gosh,
Man,
one
I
of
had to get myself comfortable at this one place. It's called like, uh, what is it? It's not Spa House, but it's in like Koreatown, but it's just a massive like place with saunas and stuff. They have like
mhm.
something like I would say like 20 saunas plus, like all these different ones. Um, and then they have an area that I like to call naked room. And it's just a massive area that has cold pools, hot tubs, all kinds of stuff, showers, steam rooms, all kinds of stuff. You can't go in there unless you're naked. And I remember like thinking in my head, I'm like, man, like I don't know. Like, yeah, I can do this. Like, it's fine, not a big deal. But like, you almost had to like psych yourself into it because it's like you're just dangling around, just naked as shit, And so I finally went in there and I was like, "Man, this is kind of freeing." It's like I'm just walking with my shit hanging down and
No, I will say, no, one of the worst experiences of my life happened in regards to this. So there was a we built a new house out on the east side of downtown, and I for years I went to the gym my wife and I love. Like we absolutely loved it. It was like our therapy. We would go there and
yeah.
just super clean, nice gyms, kind of like the places you run. But then when we
Yeah.
moved, it was way too far to drive to anymore. So I had to find this new place. And the first gym I checked out had this really tiny locker room. And the age of the customers was kind of heightened. So a lot of, free flowers
Oh,
walking
yeah.
around there. And this one morning, it's like, 5 in the morning, and I'm going to like change into my business clothes because I would go directly from there to work. And I'm, like, taking off my gym shorts and going to put on my trousers, and I, like, bend over, and I feel this, fleshiness hit
Oh,
hit me in my arm, and I was like, "What the hell?" And I turned back around. This old guy is just, like, bent over completely with his ass just, like, pressed up against my back. I was just like, "What the heck, man?" Like, I was and he, like, just looks back like it was, like, no big deal. I was like, "What the hell is going on here?" But, like,
thought
I mean,
maybe you
it
got dong slapped. That'd be pretty
oh,
funny.
man, it was like, I needed some therapy after that, but, that was, like, the last day I went to that gym. And I was like, "Man, that locker room is just way too tight of quarters for me." But, that's one of those things, once again, it's like, whatever you're comfortable with, it's just I think the rule of thumb is personal space, is
Yeah.
always a
Yeah.
good thing. Yeah, so,
I can see that.
yeah,
Yeah. I mean, you're there. I mean, you kind of, it's like, with a private membership, you expect a little bit more of like a private experience, right? And
yeah.
not rubbing skins against each other.
Between you and the Asian bathhouse and me, we have quite an interesting mix there. But you as a gym owner, creating that environment and that culture in your gym, you know, obviously you have a ton of different personalities and age ranges and
Oh, yeah.
everybody there. So, how do you kind of create an environment for all those different types of personalities that feels cohesive and all one kind of culture?
Uh, I mean the way I've designed everything, I just kind of like one, each gym I designed based on, the kind of the neighborhood that they're in. Whereas, one of them's over in Lakewood. Lakewood's more of like a family type environment, a little bit more couples, people with kids, stuff like that, older people that are over there. So it has a little bit more of like a, I guess, sm- what I say, like smooth aesthetic feel to it, or like a more welcoming aesthetic, where it's just like bright lights, everything like that, like open air. Whereas the other one has a little bit more like darker feel to it. Uh, and I don't want to say like club style or anything like that, but it has a little bit more edginess. And the one like the Highland Park one that we have, like what I'm talking about, I have 2 separate suites here. So one suite is like more classroom cardio based, and the other suite is more like weight room based. So the way I designed that was uh the the weight room side's a little bit more edgy. So there's a little bit more edgy feel to it. The bathrooms have a little bit more edgy like messaging and everything like that. Like the men's restroom has great is one of the messages I have on the wall as you walk in. It says greatness isn't built in a day, but behind it, it's not some muscled out dude or anything. It's a building. It's like architectural stuff. And then throughout the men's, it's a lot of architectural pictures and stuff like that,
Yeah.
bridges and buildings and stuff. Whereas the women's, I'm trying to remember what it says in there, but it has more of like a I own this shit vibe. Uh, like where lifting weights shouldn't be worked as bad for women or anything like that. It should be more considered like a power move for women. So everything in there has to do with women power and like women being strong yet still elegant and everything like that. So uh whereas like the men's restroom is black walls with that on there. The women's restroom is white walls with different pictures and stuff on it. Uh, yeah, I mean, I go through every single detail when I design these things, and yeah, I design it myself. So
Awesome. You've done a great job, man. Like I said,
yeah,
it's great to see what you've built down there. But
thank you.
when it
And then
comes
also,
to
so back to the design part. So I
yeah,
was saying like the weight room side and the classroom cardio side, I approached it like a heaven and hell.
that's
And
cool.
that was where my kind of, creative sense kinda came into play is like, "All right, this is how I'm going to approach it," and then that's how I start breaking it down on how exactly I'm going to design it.
Nice. So
Yep.
what's in the heaven and what's in the hell?
So the heaven portion is more like lighter white wall, feel to it, lighter lockers, so it has, like, white lockers, whereas, and then also, like, the aesthetics of, like, some of the pictures and messaging is a little bit lighter,
Yeah.
whereas, the hell side's a little bit more edgy, black walls with white accents, whereas the other one's white walls with black accent walls. Um, and so, yeah, those are different approaches I've taken with it.
Have you ever thought of on the hell side maybe adding like an old man bending over, touching his flesh to your, while you're working out? That
Thought about
really
it. Thought about having that as a photo on the wall. It's like, "If you don't put away your weights, you're gonna get a wrinkly dong on you."
Oh, that'd be good. Yeah. So, what are you playing TV at like games or anything like that while
Right
people
now?
work out? Yeah, just I mean, do you
Uh
have TVs with playing
Yeah, so I've
uh,
got some, I mean, I've got TVs that are in the gym space. We usually have some sort of sports or news on them. And yeah, I mean, I don't know how many TVs I got, like 15, 20, something like that. And yeah, so at least it gives that a little bit. I mean, I don't know how much people pay attention to it, but it is kind of in a sense, like a norm to have TVs, I guess, so people can
Yeah.
just look up at them. But for the most part,
I,
people have their head in their phones in between sets now.
yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, a lot of times the TV is, the gym is one of those places where it's like eye contact is uncomfortable, but there's so many
yes.
people. It's like, what do you look at? So the TV becomes kind of that point of reference in between sets or something like that, rather than, you know, naturally
Almost
as
like
humans
get your
do.
mind off what you're doing, right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
just
and
like
so
listening to music while you run. I can't run without music. I would just
yeah.
get bored,
Yeah,
right?
because sometimes I'll zone out, like, I'll just be staring at something and I don't even realize I'm staring at it, so it's like, sometimes the TV is helpful as, like, a point of reference for your eyes to go there, and, one thing that
That's probably
drives me
why you
kinda
got the wrinkly
crazy at
ass on you.
the what?
It's probably why you got that wrinkly ass on you. You're probably zoning out, staring at him, and he probably went up to you and just kind of
He's like, "Hello, hello,
shove
Sean,
some skin on your side.
yeah, I'm gonna see you in the locker room here in just a bit. We'll see what's going on."
Hello,
No.
friendly neighbor.
But, no, but, one thing that drives me crazy is at the gym I go to now, it's constantly like the home shopping network is up there. I'm like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah,
Like, there's literally a Nuggets game on right now that I'm missing that you could have up there instead of like, the
just
QVC or
go
whatever
ask
it
him.
is.
Go ask him to change it.
Yeah, I think I'm going to. I don't think that would be bad manners for me to be like, "Hey,
Yeah,
you know what? I think
because for the
everyone would
most part,
enjoy."
like I don't know what's playing until someone comes up and says something. Like if
That's a
somebody wants something on, cool, I'll change it. I'll put it on there for you. Because
that's
nobody
a
else is like asking for it or saying no, no, no. I'm watching the home shopping network. I don't
yeah.
think anybody's going to do that.
Yeah, and you bring up that's a great point, and that's a lot of things in life that, we get aggravated by certain things that could easily be accomplished with just a little bit of communication. Because once again,
Oh,
you as a business
100%.
owner, you don't care what's on the TV, like, you're not
Yeah.
looking at it, you're not paying attention to it, so, just, sack up and go and just ask to change a simple, channel, and I doubt it would be a big
Yeah.
problem, so, no,
And
I
that's
think
what
that's good advice.
I've told numerous customers that it's like, somebody, say wants to cancel because of X, Y, and Z. I was like, I appreciate you bringing that attention. I wish you would have brought that to my attention previously because I would have gotten it taken care of for you immediately. Like
Yeah,
if somebody brings something to my attention, I'll get it taken care of. I mean,
yeah,
I fix stuff like usually day of. If something's broken, I'll go fix it.
yeah,
It's when they let it go and then they, you know, go to cancel and say, "Well, it's because of this." It's like, "Well, I didn't know that because you never said anything to me. I have no
yeah,
problem taking care of things. Like it's not a lack of, it's that I have to be told these things. Uh, yeah, we do routine inspections on stuff, but at the same time, we're not doing an inspection every single day
yeah,
on certain things. If something's not working right, something's not flowing right, or you know, like, I'll know if, like, a cable's broken or something like that, but I won't know if, like, say, like, a treadmill is necessarily misbehaving,
yeah,
because we have a large amount of treadmills, and so, I have to be told, "Hey, well, this isn't working." "Okay. Well, thank
yeah,
you for bringing that attention. I'll get that fixed immediately."
yeah. No, and that's a great point, and I think a lot of people, when they think of good manners, they think things like that sometimes are considered, griping or complaining, but I think actually good manners is actually letting a business owner know that the things that they have there that they think are working, aren't working properly, and that's actually good
Yeah.
manners, not the other way
Oh,
around,
it's
so,
amazing. I love it, and I
yeah,
love, if somebody approaches and gives us suggestions on things, it's uh, like, say, like, "I wish you all had this piece of equipment," and usually if somebody says that, I'm like, "Okay, well, I'll put that in the works, and we'll see if we can get something here in the next couple months if it fits into our equipment thing." Like, if a certain piece doesn't get used as much, cool, let me know that because I'll get that replaced with a better replacement of what people will actually use.
yeah,
It's like, we don't have, I don't have everything perfect. Nothing's ever
yeah,
perfect, right? I'm always
mhm,
willing to grow. I'm always willing to learn. I'm always willing to do better for our members because that is who we're there for.
Yeah.
We want the best experience possible for our members.
Yeah. Uh,
So,
yeah, I'm glad we covered that because I think that's a big one. It's just that the communications don't always assume that, a business is aware of something. Actually talk to them, don't be afraid. We talked about that. I mean, when like episode 2, I had a guy that ran a bunch of grocery stores and just, asking him like, what do you do when some produce falls on the ground? Do you put it back? And he's like, no, just go to an attendant and tell him, and it's like
yeah,
it's the most simple thing in the world, but a lot of us just avoid that contact with other humans because we think
yeah.
it's gonna be awkward or weird, but it's really that's the best thing to do is,
Well, and
something's not
communication's
going to.
what's missing in this world. I mean, we kind of highlighted it earlier. It's like, about people on their phones or their headphones and stuff like that. It people have lost the ability to communicate properly. Why do you
Yep.
think relationships don't work out as well as they used to?
Yeah.
Uh, like people don't communicate properly.
Yeah.
And it's huge. If
Yeah.
you don't
No, it's
communicate,
always funny to me.
especially with employees too,
Yeah.
it's the same thing. Like you don't
Yeah.
communicate, you don't let them know exactly what you're needing or exactly how things work, then you can't get mad at them,
Yeah. Yep, you're
you know?
absolutely right. And it's nowadays people are so quick to not talk to anybody, but go home and leave like a scathing review on,
Oh
Google
yes.
reviews or something like that. And it's just, a
I've
lot of
dealt with
those
that.
things
I
can
recently
can
dealt with one of those actually.
yeah, and that sucks as a business owner because like you said, a lot of times it's something A, you didn't even know about, or B, you could have corrected, had they brought it up to you. So I totally see that part of it. And obviously, that exists for, if you have communicated, not once, but maybe multiple times and it's still not fixed, then okay, fair game at that point. But
Yeah.
I think the rule of thumb here is, in accordance to this show on manners, it's just once again, communication solves a lot of problems. So,
Oh,
well,
100%.
let's move on to one of the let's talk about communication, but with our eyes. Sometimes would you say that uh, that apparel choices when working out is just free game, or do you think there's certain do's and don'ts on things you're wearing to the gym?
I mean, yeah, don't wear jeans. Like, don't wear your khakis and polo. I mean, I guess if that's all you got and you're already at the gym, no problem. Like, not that big of a deal. No open-toed shoes. Like, we don't want somebody accidentally dropping a weight on their toe. I mean, either way, you drop a weight on your shoe, you're gonna screw up your fucking foot.
Yeah,
But the open-toed stuff, also if you gotta wear socks too, 'cause if someone's walking around barefoot, again, it's also kind of a germ thing for people. I think that people's feet are kinda nasty.
yeah,
People automatically have that assumption anyways. Uh, and then, we don't know if hopefully nothing's on the ground that you could step on, but, what if you step on something?
yeah,
Keep your shoes on.
yeah. No,
But
that's probably more of a Denver thing than a Dallas thing. I've seen multiple people working out in sandals out here. Like,
yeah, uh-uh. I could see somebody like if somebody likes to do barefoot squats and stuff like that, it's
yeah,
understandable. You take them off there at the rack,
yeah,
and you could do your squats and then, put your shoes back on when you're done, when you're moving about the gym. But don't be, walking around barefoot the whole
yeah,
time.
yeah, absolutely. Nah, I mean, you
So
probably, with your gym, do you get a lot of influencer type people there, like videoing themselves?
we've had a lot. I mean, still get quite a few that come in, but I mean, I've had people with millions and millions of followers that come
Yeah,
through here. Um, and yeah, I mean, like we have certain rules, regulations as far as like recording yourself.
mhm,
I'm gonna say it's like, we don't want a bunch of tripods, like everybody using tripods. Members, I'll say, do it a little, you can do it a little bit. Uh, just don't get in people's way, and don't expect people to abide by your tripod and so you have it set up in a
Yeah.
certain spot. Um, and if you're going to do that, do it in like downtimes. Don't do
Yeah.
it while we're busy. Uh, so yeah,
I think once again, it's like you said earlier, awareness was a big, you know, pet peeve for you, and just having some awareness of where you are. But that's one of the
there's a
things
lot
I
of people
deal
that
with.
don't. The men's side of things, men are animals. I've come to find out. I don't know where most of them are raised or how they're raised, but Jesus Christ, I have more things that break because of men in the gym space, in the bathroom. They also, they'll get 4 towels at a time and just like burn through towels left and right. Like
Yeah.
if if they use one towel for one machine, then they'll go and grab another gym towel for their next one. It's like, come on, dude, use the same towel for the whole time. Like quit
Yeah.
abusing towels. And then also
Yeah.
they have a tendency to walk off with towels too. So that happens quite a bit too. But
Yeah.
men
Unfortunately, yeah.
the men in the gym, like I don't know if it's a testosterone thing or what it is, but they turn into animals all throughout.
I could see that.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, that I was gonna save this for a quick fire round, but grunting, is it necessary?
Eh, if I mean, if you are, say, if you're like PRing or something, I get it.
Yeah.
But on a regular gym day basis, no. Like, I mean, I've lifted plenty of heavy weight in my life. That last rep, cool. But like doing it for every rep, like, ah.
Yeah.
And then there's
Uh,
different levels of grunting too. There's some that are
yeah.
just like, you're like, what is that?
That was always
There-
one of my favorite Adam Sandler skits. Have you ever listened to the one where he's like, "And now, to you gotta guess, is this weightlifting or is this sex?" And they like
Yeah.
have the sounds, and it's like, and the guy's like, I think that was sex." And he's like, "No, that was me doing butterfly squats with my friend."
Oh,
It's
I remember, what was it, back when we had Title. So back when we had Title Boxing Club, we had a girl that would come in here and she would personal train with a trainer, and it would be like kind of dead times. And I'm talking, it's like, ah, like, but in more of a girly voice. And we could hear it clear across the gym, and we was like, what is going on? And she did that all the time.
oh geez,
It was, yeah, it was,
that's a little distracting.
remember seeing the look on my sister's face, and she was like,
Yeah, I
yeah,
think the rule of thumb there is just maybe watch the sounds a little bit, and then obviously
yeah.
dress for safety, it sounds like, but other than that, dress for however you're comfortable.
Me, yeah, short shirt, tank top, whatever you wear, you know, just not naked. You're
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah. Yeah. I think for a lot of people, for once again, being that mix of different people at the gym, you have the regulars, the ones that, are in the gym every day. They're incredibly fit and they know what they're doing. But then you have the newbies that are coming in, they don't know what to do.
Yeah.
There's this big intimidation factor, right? And I'm still in
Oh
that
yeah.
as long as I've been, you know, casually going to the gym for pretty much my whole life. I'm still kind of in that intermediate range where I easily get intimidated.
Yeah. Well, and it has to do with flow, right? Each gym has its own flow. I mean, I get that way. I mean, I even when I was in my super prime, like I would go when I was traveling around all over the place. I'd go to different countries and all that stuff, and I'd go into a gym and you feel kind of lost because you're like, because you usually know, exactly where everything is, exactly what you're going to hit, stuff like that. And then you go into a new gym and the layout's completely different. And you're kind of like, you're thrown off for a brief moment. It doesn't
Yeah.
impact it that much, but at the same time, there is a certain like lost feel that you have. So
Yep.
for somebody that's new, I mean, it would be, yeah, I understand it. A complete like loss,
Yeah.
of what to do, and it's very intimidating. I
Yeah.
understand that.
Which I think is, opens the door and the need for it's why that having that trainer can really help you ease into, because that's usually one of the most intimidating things is like running out of things to do. Where you,
Yeah.
you get in there, you hit the treadmill, then you walk back, you maybe do some arm curls, and then you do some tricep things, and then you're like, oh crap, what do I do now? It's like you're kind
Yeah,
of
and a lot
walking
of
around aimlessly.
it's just it's movement, right? And movement, I mean, for me, it's very, very simple. There's other people that it's not so simple, but
Mm.
all it takes is, do some pushes, do some pulls, do some lunges, do some squats, uh, do some curls, do some tricep extensions,
Yeah.
above head presses, stuff like that. Start off with the small things and go through a routine until you
Yeah.
can really get into a flow.
Absolutely. Yeah. One of the worst things I ever did was this was a few years ago. It was like right before COVID hit. And I had this app where you could get like your daily workout and it would show you like videos of what to do, but then you could also follow famous people's workouts. So you could choose
Yeah.
like, Rocky Balboa or whatever. And one day, this is around like when Deadpool, maybe it was either the first one or the second one was coming out, and I was like, "Oh, I wanna be jacked like Ryan Reynolds from Deadpool."
Yeah.
Look at the so I, like, clicked on the Deadpool workout, and I'm at the gym, I'm, like, following this thing, like, going from one thing to the next. It was like this whole circuit type training, and there was one of these where you're like it was a like, you have the crossbar with weights on it, and it was a lunge, and then it was like this twist thing. It's like you
Oh,
lunged and then, like, kinda twisted. I messed up my hip so bad, it's still messed up from that. I, like, felt this
really?
pop in my hip. Oh, man, it was like I still have this pain in my hip, but I share that story to set up when it c there's a in the weight room business and the fitness business, there's a ton of advice out there, but what's
Yeah.
your advice for people that are looking to follow people? I mean, how do you know what's right? How do you know what to stay away from?
I mean, one, the understand your body first, understand your limitations. So if you have different things like, like injuries, old injuries, uh, lack of mobility, if you need to stretch a bunch or anything like that, uh, you need to understand where your mobility limits are, before you get into anything.
Yeah,
And then whoever you're following, because there's a lot of these fitness influencers out there that, they try to come up with these moves that are very, very complicated. You don't need complicated moves. Uh, you don't need to stand on one leg, do a curl, and then do a press above your head. Like you don't need to do things like that.
yeah.
But they try to do that because, back to what I was saying originally about having the best fitness,
Mhm.
they want to be known as having the best fitness, right?
Yeah,
So they want to be known as having the best, most unique moves. Like, oh, that looks cool.
yeah,
No, it's not about that. Movement, movement is kind of relative. It's very simple. Doing lunges, doing some squats, uh, doing presses, doing pulls will get you a long ways. You know,
yeah,
you know,
yep,
just and you got to think of everyday movements too. You know how you're pushing on things or picking up, say, like your kid or picking up a box or this or that. Like those are things that you're trying to improve your ability to do certain things like that, your ability to get up and down off a chair. That's a squat right there, right? So just doing those movements, yes, there are additional like core things and all that to help you fully understand your body, but you know, grasping grasping on how your body moves and how your body responds to things, it's the biggest thing that you can do.
Yeah.
And it takes a little bit to do it. Uh, but it's like, I've been in this mode of trying to get my dad to start working out again. And, he never really lifted weights ever, but he's 75 years old. It'd be 76 this year. He's gained weight, since he retired. And, I got him a machine that it's just like pushes and pulls and then like leg pushes and just getting him out to start walking. And I told him, I said, these are the things you need to do. Try to do, just start off with like 3 sets of doing squats. Do like
Yeah.
10 reps of squats.
Yeah.
Do some push-ups. If you have to go down to your knees, go down to your knees and try to do some push-ups. And then get something where you can pull. And that's why I got in the machine. It's called like a strength erg, where you can do presses, you can do pulls, you can do leg presses. That way it strengthens him up to where he can go to that next level. It's kind of like
Yeah.
a video game. It's like, you start off on a low level and then you go to the next level and then you go to the next level. Granted, he's
Yeah.
older, so he's not going to get up that high
Yeah.
as far as like level of fitness, but you can still get pretty high even
Yeah.
even being older.
Yeah.
But it's starting out little and then adding on a little by little, and then you
Yeah.
find yourself at a certain level. It's the same
Yeah.
with like what a diet is, right? People that crash diet and they think that, all right, I'm gonna fix everything if I start eating like this. No, you won't, because you'll end up going back the other way because you've gone from one extreme to another.
Yeah.
So what you need to do is chop away. So say, all right, I'm not going to do cheese for a while, or I'm not going
Yeah.
to do cheese. And then you cut out, all right, I'm going to do half the sugar that I'm doing. Okay. All right, I'm going to eat leaner meats and stuff like that. You just do it week by week. And
Yeah.
then you get to a point where, all right, I'm at this stage of I'm starting to look great, feel great. What else can I do?
Yeah. Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely. And I think once again that kind of goes back to what you said in the beginning, that barrier to entry once again, is time, but it's also we want to see instant results. It once again that
Oh
goes
yeah.
into that time
Oh yeah.
aspect. And so for a lot of us, we want to go in there day 1 and we want to feel like we're you know that we fit not only fit in, but that we're gonna go home and have wake up the next day like Peter Parker, Spider-Man, and look in the mirror and be like, "Whoa, look at that." But it's really, I talk about it all the time in regards to everything is it takes just it takes daily doses of,
Yeah.
just doing it and, it will add up over time. But
Right.
so moving on to some things, what kind of going back into without going into super detail about it, but what's one thing you think that can help people just instantly feel welcomed into a gym, something that you as an owner could do, but then something as that gym customer could do?
I mean, so one of the things that we do, one is like lighting and our front desk appearance. Um, it's when you have a welcoming, kind of like a more of like a soft lighting, uh, feel when somebody walks in, it feels like home.
Mhm.
Whereas if everything's super bright and in your face, um, that's very intimidating, right?
Yep.
So, lighting and then also just the introduction of ourselves. So like when somebody walks in, like greeting them and asking them how their day is and like kind of breaking the ice that way. Don't start talking about fitness.
Yeah.
Just talk to them as a normal human being, and then
Yeah.
just saying, what brought you in, like, what can I do for you, what can we do to help you get to where you want to be, and what's prevented you from getting where you want to be, like before.
Yeah.
So, just trying to get them to be a little bit vulnerable when it comes to, you know, their fitness wants and needs, and what they're wanting to achieve.
Absolutely. I love that. So I used to have a gym in my building where I worked,
Yeah.
and I would get there at like, you know, I would leave the house at like 4:30 in the morning. I would get there like around 5 or so, and the lights of the building were on like this timed thing where like at 7 o'clock the lights would just come on, for the whole
Yeah.
building. But before that, you had to like manually like hit this light for like the bathrooms and stuff. And so there's this morning where I'm getting ready to go work out, and I'm usually there before there's like nobody in my whole building there at all the whole
Yeah.
time. And so I go to the restroom and I'm like in the stall, and while I was in there, the lights turn off. And I was just like, I wasn't like scared or anything, but I'm like just doing my business. And then all of a sudden, like the door opens and the light comes on and someone walks in there. And I'm like in the stall in the dark, before
Yeah.
that. So I
Oh
like pick
God.
up my feet because I was like, oh God, they're gonna be like
Oh
so freaked
no.
out that someone's just in here in the dark in the stall. So I'm like, I pick up my feet, and then I think I like my foot slipped. And so like they must have saw my foot and they were like, huh, like got
Oh God.
scared and left. But I was just like, oh my God, man. Like, so
They
when I
probably
say
thought you were in
awkward,
there
that's,
wanking one.
yeah. Yeah, no,
Oh, it's
that's what I
the
mean
night
by
wanker
awkward.
again. The night wanker.
No wanking, no
Been
wanking
here
in
all
there.
night.
No. Oh man. Oh, Brian, I'm so thankful that I had you jump on here with me. Like I said, I mean, for
Yeah.
those of you listening, I literally pretty much grew up with Brian, and it's funny
Yeah,
uh,
ever since I
seeing.
was, what, 17, 16, 17? I
Oh
used to come
gosh,
up to Manhattan, I think.
yeah, yep, yeah. We had a good time in college.
Yeah.
So
If we would have videos, I don't know. We
wouldn't
had
have
a lot
been
of fun.
good. Yeah,
Yeah, I didn't that stuff painted around.
yep, yeah. Well, Brian, it was so good catching up with you today. Thanks for walking us
Good
through the
catching up with
weight
you too.
room, on some of the do's and don'ts. I think quickly, just kind of recapping the conversation, I think, it really comes down to what it comes down to a lot of times is just be mindful of your surroundings, just pay
Yeah.
attention to not only the things that others are doing and what they're trying to accomplish and making sure you're kind of flowing in that process, but also, pay attention to the work that is put into your environment through the owners of the businesses.
Yeah.
Realize that, these towels get washed and dried and they're there for your
Somebody
convenience.
has to
So,
wash them, and well, and like, it's just be aware, because so other people can enjoy
yeah,
the space as well, right?
yeah,
And and that's the biggest thing. It's like, because yeah, we clean up, we put away weights, we do different things like that, but we're not there for every second of the day. Because if we had 50 people doing what, usually there's like a select few that do it. If we had 50 people doing it, if everybody was doing that, it would be complete chaos all the time.
yeah,
So that
yeah,
it's not about, hey, I forgot to put away my weights. No, it's about, hey, you consistently forget to put away your weights.
yeah,
And if you consistently do that, and then other people start doing that, then that's where the chaos ensues.
yep.
And
That's like,
and
yeah,
that's where it gets other people, and it pisses other people off, and they think that, they may think that we're not doing our job and stuff like that, which we are.
yeah,
It's just it's a matter of just follow some guidelines.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
just
It's just once
be
again, I
aware,
mean,
be
manners exist outside.
cognizant of what
Yeah,
you're doing.
yeah. Yep, manners exist outside of the rule book, that's where, you're absolutely right. It's what avoids chaos a lot of times. So, that's the point of this show. And when you're out and about, the other thing that I think was accomplished today is if you are new, um, you know, don't don't be intimidated. Find the
Don't ever be
help.
afraid to ask
Realize that.
questions.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to communicate. If everything's not right, definitely communicate it, because a lot of times the owners are a lot like Brian here, and they'll bend over backwards to make everything perfect for you. So,
Yeah.
just communicate and mind your space. Also, wipe down your machines.
Oh yeah.
We didn't really get into that today, but wipe down your machines and, you know, just that personal space inside the locker room. Keep that going.
If you
But
spill something, let us know. Like
yep,
there's a lot of times that that happens. Like
yeah.
people will spill things. There's a time that somebody, I don't know what they did. It was something with the shower. I don't know if the shower was like plugged up or something, but and it was a shower room. It was just a shower room on its own, so like an individual shower room. So they were the only ones that were using it. Well, it ended up seeping out. And I remember looking back in the cameras, it seeped out all the way into the hallway and all the way down. And I watched this person walk out of that out of that shower room, and they stepped over the water and they went home.
Oh man.
And, I ended up emailing that person, and it's like, hey, like, why did you not inform us? Why did you not tell us that this was an issue? It's just like
Yep.
a broken down treadmill or something. If you get on it, if it doesn't work, let us know. We'll
Yeah.
immediately fix it. We'll immediately make it better so other people don't have to encounter what you encountered.
Yep. Absolutely. But yeah, just I think a lot of it seems common sense, but part of this show is hopefully,
You
if
would
it's
think
not
so.
common, we'll make it known. So,
Yeah. You
but
would think it was common sense.
yeah. But Brian, thanks for building something so awesome in your neck of the
Yeah.
woods. I know you've improved the lives of so many. I know how much personally you care about it. So
Yeah.
it's great to see everything, that you're passionate about. It's great to see this empire that you've created over the years, and I'm proud of you.
We've put our heart and our souls into it, and
There you
it's
go.
funny. It's
Yep.
funny. We're just getting started too, even though
Yeah.
it's been, start off with title like what 13 years ago. Um, just doing that, and then you know going forward, it's like now we're here with our own brand and everything like that. Uh, but it's taken a lot of years to fully understand what we were doing. Uh, like in order to make a great brand, it's different from other brands. And how we appeal to people, and how we get people to understand that we're there for them, and not just there to make money.
Abs Oh, well, buddy, I appreciate you so much, Brian. Thank you
Yeah,
so much for being a
absolutely.
part of this. And yeah, we will talk soon. And thanks again.
Absolutely. Good to see you, big guy.
Good to see you.
Tell the
Later, my
family I
friend.
say hello.
You're listening to the Mannered Podcast.